I am not sure what is worse, the screams that filled the air a few weeks ago, or the heavy silence that has come after. I used to believe that helping others was the most important thing in life. Now, sitting here alone, I'm not sure what I believe anymore. Everything feels like a nightmare I can't wake up from. It started like any normal morning in the city. The sun was shining, the streets were full of people rushing to work, and everything felt ordinary. I was on my way to my internship at a large bank. That day had even felt lucky. I had finally built up the courage to talk to the secretary I liked across the hall. For once, life seemed to be going right, but that was the day the world ended. The alarms went off without warning. People around me panicked instantly. Crowds screamed and ran in every direction, but no one really knew where to go. Some tried to reach the subways, hoping the underground tunnels would be safe. I followed them because there were no other choices left. Soldiers stood in the corridor wearing strange full-body suits and masks, like they were ready for a chemical attack. Their hidden faces made them look less like people and more like ghosts. Parents clutched their children tightly, dragging them deeper into the dark tunnels. We walked for hours through the blackness until the soldiers led us into a massive underground vault. The steel doors were marked with numbers and letters, something like N77R2D80F. I was lucky to get inside. As soon as we entered, gunshots echoed behind us and the heavy doors slammed shut. The screams from outside went quiet after a few minutes, and then the explosions began. The ground shook as if the earth itself was angry. Children cried endlessly, their wails echoing in the dark, and outside there was nothing but silence. That silence felt worse than the noise. For days we stayed in the vault. People whispered about what had happened above us. Most believed it had been a nuclear attack. Somehow, we were still alive, but it didn't feel like a miracle. Food was scarce. The small cafeteria couldn't handle so many people. We were given tiny rations, barely enough to keep going, but no one dared to complain too loudly. On the third or fourth day, we started to hear voices outside the vault. People were begging to be let in. "Please, we're dying out here. Help us," they screamed. The soldiers refused to open the doors. No one wanted to see what was out there. After hours of begging, gunshots echoed outside, and the voices stopped. We were all relieved, but at the same time, the silence felt like a new kind of terror. A week later, the voices came back, but they weren't begging anymore. They were angry, twisted. They shouted that they would tear us apart, eat our flesh, and drink the marrow from our bones. I tried not to listen, but their words followed me into my dreams. I dream of monsters chasing me through the ruins of the city. Monsters that might not be dreams at all. The leaders of the vault decided to cut our food rations even more. People rioted. A group tried to take control of the cafeteria, but the soldiers shot them down. I began hiding scraps of food in my work bag. It wasn't much, but it was something. Then it happened. The creatures broke into the vault. They weren't human. Their skin was pale and yellow, and their glowing green eyes burned with hatred. I locked eyes with one of them before someone shot it down. I didn't stay to watch. I ran. Some might call me a coward, but I didn't care. Survival was the only thing left. I reached the cafeteria kitchen. Breakfast had just been served, so one of the storerooms was open. I slipped inside, locked the heavy door, and hid. I could hear screams and gunshots outside for hours until everything went silent again. I found a dead soldier in the room, took his sidearm, and counted the food supplies. It was enough to last me for a while. I have been here for weeks now. The corpse rots beside me, filling the air with a sickening smell. Worse than that, they know I'm here. They whisper through the cracks, calling my name, promising to tear me apart. In my loneliness, I started talking back, telling them who I am. They tell me to open the door, that it will all be over soon. Maybe they're right. The food is running out. Every day the thought of ending this nightmare grows stronger. They tell me to end it on my own terms, and tomorrow I think I will.